All right, watch out, folks. We got a lot of skull and crossbones in this video, if you haven't noticed. Because we're going to get into some grim territory, folks. With Nelson DeMille's thriller, Plum Island. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart and the Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. And yeah, man, we're going to be talking about one of the greatest thriller series of all time. Nelson DeMille's John Corey mysteries, thrillers. I don't know whether they're mysteries or thrillers. They're both, really. I mean, they remind me a lot of Jack Reacher. It's kind of like Jack Reacher mixed with Robert Cryas, Elvis Cole series, or Dennis Lehane's Kenzie and Gennaro series. It's like a Robert B. Parker's Spencer series, but on steroids. I've got every Nelson DeMille novel here, folks. This is book number 1 in the John Corey series, Plum Island. Book number 2, Lion's Game. He's got about 6 or 7 others in the series. Plus, he's got a whole host of other novels that he's written, like The Gold Coast, about the Italian Mafia, Cathedral, about the Irish Liberation Army, Charm School, about Russian Charm School, which is kind of like Red Sparrow. Nelson DeMille is one of the greatest thriller writers of all time. That's why I'm going to start rereading and reviewing all of his books on this channel too. And we are going to start with one of my favorites. Well, my favorite is The Gold Coast. My second, which is not up in the John Corey series, my second favorite is Plum Island, book number 1 in the John Corey thriller series. Picture John Corey. Who is John Corey? He's like Jack Reacher. He's like Spencer. He's like a wisecracking. He's not serious. He's not serious in tone like Dan Brown's Robert Langdon, from the Da Vinci Code, or Brad Thor's Scott Harvath, or Robert Ludlum stuff. He's not serious like that. Well, it is serious. It's dark and grim. These stories are very violent and R-rated, but he's like a wisecracking. He's like Jack Reacher, the smartest. John Corey walks into the room. He's the smartest, toughest, most badass dude in the room, and he's got the wittier line. He's got the most witty lines. He's everything. It's a man's man. He's like James Bond, plus way much more funny. And like everything else, this was written in 1997, and like every novel from 20 years ago or beyond, it's got a lot of things that just would get an author canceled today. Specifically the sexism and all of that. And John Corey is just like all the other private investigators from the 70s and 80s and 90s. He's a ladies' man. He's a ladies' man. He gets the ladies everywhere he goes. He gets the ladies. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So what is the book about? We always review the covers. I think this is a spectacular cover considering the subject matter that John Corey is investigating, the skull and crossbones in Plum Island, and we're going to go about that. Most of Nelson DeMille's books take place on Long Island. The only thing I know about Long Island, New York, I've learned from Nelson DeMille's books. That's all I know. Everything I know. I don't know anything. The Gold Coast, Long Island. Every one of his novels seems to be set on Long Island. Everything I know about Long Island is from the Gold Coast. Or Billy Joel songs. That's it. That's it. What is this book about? Well, it's about John Corey. He's a New York Police Department cop, and he gets shot. And he goes out to his friend's house in Long Island to recuperate from the shooting. And he's made the shooting caused a lot of notoriety, so everybody in New York kind of knows who he is because he's this cop that got shot in this really famous kind of cop shooting thing where it was a justified shooting and everything, and he was shot himself, but he killed the dudes that shot him, and anyway, but he's kind of got a little bit of fame now, so he kind of goes out to Long Island to kind of hide out and recuperate from his injuries, right? Well, what happens is the people he's living with, well, next door are this couple that work at Plum Island. Now, Plum Island is this super secret sort of military government base that it's kind of like Area 51, like nobody really knows what goes on out there, right? But rather than dealing with aliens and spaceships and military secrets and military technology, Plum Island is more of germ warfare. It's kind of like a science lab where they keep all the anthrax and the Lyme disease. And the rumors are people know about Plum Island, like AIDS was cooked up in Plum Island. COVID-19 was cooked up in Plum Island. Everything that's a bloodborne or airborne pathogen that can destroy humanity was cooked up on Plum Island by the United States government, right? And so our main man, John Corey, he's out there convalescing, in his friend's house, and the next door neighbors are murdered, and they work at Plum Island. They're a couple, and they work at Plum Island. So now John Corey is like kind of roped into the investigation, right? And he meets the main investigator. The main investigator comes up, and she is a hot lady. So we know where this is going, right? Because, John Corey, he a man, right? And now he's got this investigation going on right next door to him, and the investigator's this, like, sweet looking hottie. And I've got to read you the way, we talk about male gaze once in a while in these video reviews because I'm reviewing a lot of older thrillers and older mystery novels where back in the day, back when Ian Fleming was writing James Bond, they don't care about them. These are men's novels. These are not women's romance novels. These are adventure novels for men. Let's make that clear. And so part of the fantasy of being a tough guy like John Corey or Jack Reacher is you're going to get all the women. And we see the women through the eyes of these ladies' men. And I got to read you this description because it is priceless. And it would get any author canceled today. Straight canceled. That's how priceless this is. And I am delighted to bring it to you. Because these things bring me such glee. Because I don't like woke and I don't like politically correct. I understand there's a place for it, and I think people need to be sensitive. But I'm going to read this. I didn't write it. I'm going to read it. So this is when he first sees the hot investigator. And this is why he wants to help investigate. That's why he wants to help investigate these murders. Because we got yourselves a hot investigator here. Love it. I love this. She was very good looking, of course. If she'd been ugly, I'd have been much nicer to her. She was dressed, as I indicated, rather severely, but the body beneath the tailored clothes was a symphony of curves, a melody of flesh looking to break free. In fact, she looked like she was smuggling balloons. The second thing I noticed was that she wasn't wearing a wedding ring. Filling out the rest of her form, age, early 30s, hair, medium length, coppery color eyes, blue-green eyes, skin, fair, mouth. Not so much for sun this time of the year, light makeup, pouty lips, no visible marks or scars, no earrings, no nail polish, pissed off expression on her face. Are you listening to me? She asked. She also had a nice voice despite the present tone. I suspected that because of the pretty face, great body, and soft voice, Detective Penrose had trouble being taken seriously. And thus she overcompensated with such butchy and bitchy attire. She probably owned a book titled dress to bust balls. Are you listening to me? She asked again. I am listening to you. Are you listening to me? I told you to. Oh, so that's the way it goes. That's his introduction to the hot chicks. Man, if I put that in a book, man, my contract would be canceled. It's priceless, 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 priceless. I mean, it's men's fantasy. These Jack Reacher books, these men's adventure novels. They're for men, James Bond. I mean, if people are upset about this, they've never read Ian Fleming's James Bond. Oh my God. I mean, their heads would explode. But anyway, that's an aside to the story. The story is fantastic. Plum Island, and let's keep in mind that these were written in the 90s and 80s and stuff, and Nelson DeMille's still writing novels to this day, and he unwinds a lot of that kind of stuff in his later novels. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, nobody gave two fucks about that stuff. But nowadays, everybody's all, oh no. But anyway, men's adventure, Plum Island, people murdered, John Corey and Penrose, the hot investigator, gotta go investigate this stuff out at Plum Island. And this is a juicy mystery novel because, you know, they go out to Plum Island and everything out there is so mysterious and hidden and secretive. And everybody that works there that they want to talk to is just the same way. And so then they're just like, they get the creepy crawlies. The whole book just gives you the creepy crawlies. Like, what is our government doing to us? You know, it's got like a very Da Vinci Code feel where you're just like, when are we gonna, oh wait, I'm living in COVID-19 right now. Oh my God, maybe they've already done it. Maybe they've already done it. Maybe it is. Maybe the nut jobs are right. Maybe it is the government conspiracy. And maybe, oh my God, it's Plum Island done. Plum Island done is true. It's done true. You know, Plum Island, the book is like it's all coming to fruition. And now I'm like, did they start AIDS? Oh my God, did Plum Island start AIDS? Now I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, anthrax, everything. We're all going to die. Everybody's going to die. Because John Corey and the hot chick, the hot investigator, they're thinking the same thing. They get out every time they interview someone at this murder case, they're just coming out like, oh, God, what did they give me? Oh my gosh. Why did they murder those people? I mean, there's got to be some secrets out there. What's going on? And then the reader starts to feel the same way. The reader starts to get extra paranoid too. Like, oh, Lordy. We got Area 51, now we got Plum Island. I mean, what is the government up to? They're killing people to hide secrets because those people that got murdered, they know secrets, and then more people get murdered. Oh yeah, it's just great stuff, man. And then John Corey is just you saw what he thought of the hot chick, and he thinks that kind of stuff about everybody. And he's just a straight shooter. You know, and these government people that are working in these secretive labs, they don't want no straight shooter out messing around in their labs. And so that's what's up. That's what the whole story is about. It's like having Jack Reacher with a little bit of James Bond and a lot of, you know, Robert B. Parker Spencer out investigating things and just pissing everybody off because he's got a sharp wit and a sharp mouth. And that's the charm of the whole thing. You know, sometimes the bad boy, you know, can be charming, and that's what John Corey is. He's the bad boy, and he's charming, and yeah, he's sexist. He's sexist. I mean, there's no denying it. 17, what I read you was on page 17. 17 pages in, you're like, oh my God. I mean, I read all these before. Back in the day, I would read this stuff and not think about it, but now that I'm a writer, and I've been told, keep that shit out of your novels, now, whenever I see it in novels, it raises alarm bells, and I almost kind of am gleeful to find it and share it with y'all. Anyway, I give everything Nelson DeMille, I've collected all of his books. I give all of his stuff just super high ratings. Plum Island is one of the best thrillers I've ever read. And I give it 9.5 out of 10. Let's do that. Let's skull and crossbones this thing with a 9.5 out of 10. It's that good.